So what about kratom, though? I mean, we've been talking about just a couple of the ones that we've been easily isolated, and where can we go with this? And I realize I only have a couple of minutes, and so I'm going to jump through some of this very quickly just to show you that lyophilized kratom tea seems to have an analgesic ceiling. So we're looking at 1, 2, and 4 grams per kilogram dosed to these mice orally. We don't seem to get above 60% efficacy in there. Kratom tea will have a good hour to 90 minutes of efficacy depending on the dose that you give. And if you give very low doses, we see really no analgesic efficacy. And this, you can read more details in Drug and Alcohol Dependence on these. We do know that the analgesia seems to be mediated through mu and kappa receptors. This is different than what I talked about when we were just looking at only adrenergic activity of mitragynine and mu knockout mice. But here you can see in the wild type mouse, we can get about that 60% analgesia. And mu knockouts and kappa knockouts, we don't completely lose it. Something weird is going on in the delta knockout mouse. And then if we combine the mu knockout mouse with NorBNI pre-treatment, which is a kappa antagonist, we can pretty much eliminate the full analgesic efficacy of that dose, 1 gram per kilogram orally. We do know that it lacks a conditioned place preference, so there doesn't appear to be a drug-seeking behavior associated with low or analgesically effective doses of kratom as itself. It does not appear to have any sedative measures as measured in a rotarod assay. And it does not appear to reduce respirations, which is one of the things that has been touted sort of anecdotally, that it has less respiratory depression. We've seen that actually in the animal models. We've also seen reduction of naloxone precipitated withdrawal, just jumping frequency and teeth chattering frequencies. I'm not going to go into this for the instance of time, just to show you that there is some definite efficacy that we've seen. But I think the most important thing to finish with is what's going on pharmacokinetically. And what we see now in the animal models, we're starting to now get data in humans. So it's getting to be a really nexus point for us, and an exciting time to see if the animal models are going to be really predictive of what's happening in the human. We've given this lyophilized kratom tea. We can characterize that. You can see 7-hydroxy mitragynine is below limits of detection. And we do see some of the other alkaloids that are present. We do see mitragynine as the major alkaloid and as the major exposed alkaloid within the plasma. We also see speciosialatin all of a sudden becomes the second most interesting, and then 7-hydroxy mitragynine and coinanthidine. There are 2 other compounds that you see across the bottom where it says content of individual alkaloids. Speciosialatin and painanthine, which are also 2 of the more major alkaloids in this. We don't see them in the plasma, but that's because they disappear within the first hour. And so we really don't have data to quantify that. They're gone, they're cleared, but they have active metabolites, so stay tuned. What about this speciosialatin? Speciosialatin is actually isomer of mitragynine. The only difference is the 3 hydrogen position. And so instead of being alpha, we've moved to the beta position. This causes a complete change in 3-dimensional architecture, and very similar 3-dimensional architecture to that 7-hydroxy mitragynine molecule that I talked about earlier as being problematic. Fortunately, speciosialatin seems to only have partial agonist effect at the mu opioid receptor and doesn't appear to have effect, although it binds to kappa. And so this is something we're also probing and looking forward to understanding. But let me come back to the other 2 major alkaloids in the plant.
Chris,
yeah.
We have about 2 minutes before we go into Q&A.
I'm gonna blow right through this. So we've got this molecule, painanthine and speciogynin. They're exactly the same molecule, and I have a picture of painanthine over here. The only difference is the exocyclic double bond. These molecules have very high affinity. In fact, some of the highest affinity for any targets we've seen from the naturally occurring alkaloids at 5-HT1A and 5-HT2B receptors. 5-HT2B is a known anti-drug target because of cardiovalvulopathy that could develop. These compounds are not active at 5-HT2B. In fact, they may be antagonists, which could be beneficial. 5-HT1A, we do have agonist activity. I'm not going to show you much in vivo data there, but I do want to show you that we looked at analgesic measures of these compounds that have no opioid activity, and we see that they can produce 100% maximal possible effect in analgesia measures, mediated completely through serotonin 5-HT1A receptors, as they can be blocked with the selective WAY-100-635. So this is an exciting new avenue for non-opioid analgesics potentially. And I won't go into these clinical 20 nanograms per milliliter in regular using Thai group of Kratom users. And what we saw in the United States in 2 death cases were levels at 1,800 nanogram per mil and 3,500 nanograms per mil. So significantly higher, up to almost 200 times higher than peak plasma concentrations seen in regular Kratom users in Thailand.